Shove It, man!
Alright, Shove It Squad, just a quick video today. Who remembers when EC3 tried to start his own wrestling promotion, Control Your Narrative? Well, I can think of at least two people who can remember. Myself and Bottom 10 Wrestling. That little fella loved this show, so he made about 50 videos. He milked the sizable udders of EC3 until they were dry. And now, it's the Hawk's turn, because although Control Your Narrative might be dead, it's pretty much only dead in name only, because EC3 is back running his own wrestling promotion under the National Wrestling Alliance umbrella. It's called NWA Exodus, and it is also a cult. Control Your Narrative was famous for barely resembling a wrestling show and looking more like a dogfight down a dark alley in Dumble. And most of the lovable jobbers from Control Your Narrative have made their way over to NWA Exodus, so we've got that to look forward to. So the Hawk is just going to take you through a quick look at any highlights of weird stuff that happens, and of course, EC3 in a casket match, because we all need to see how far this man's career has been buried. This show is entitled When in Rome 2 and uses a mixture of Control Your Narrative wrestlers and NWA Power wrestlers. The show opens up with Damien Sandow. He reveals he can't compete tonight because he has a hangnail. Wow, what an epic start to the show. It said he was going to face two guys tied together for the duration of the match. Man, I feel like I've been screwed by Bonnie Blue Eyes. Then, the longest video package I've ever seen plays. It ends with an awkward cut to a wrestler bragging about doing 5 tours of Japan, but unfortunately, he didn't know enough to brag enough to tell his own name, and production must have missed this out, or he was a moron. It cuts from that to more badly produced montages from 2002, even though we've already just seen one. At this point, we were an entire 10 minutes into the show, and we finally make it to ringside. And Jesus Christ, you thought the crowds for NWA Power are bad. Wait until you see this. Brother Peace's WrestleForce vastly draws more people than this. It's probably better too. The opener will be a tag match, and we get to see the return of Man Bun Jesus and the weirdest panda I've ever seen, who is their mascot. One of the guys has a fanny pack filled with beers. How could we possibly not cheer for a team with a panda bear and beers? Man Bun Jesus' team win with that move that Easy Money used to do into a frog splash. The two losers of the match fall out afterwards, and CM Junk is now presumably dead. The NWA TV champion makes an appearance and brags about how much Billy Corgan pays him. Come on dude, don't lie. Apparently the NWA is so broke that he's had to pay for his own suitcase. He talks about his tailored clothes and then makes a bad joke about Taylor Swift. No one's met Taylor. This hilarious joke gets chants of "you suck." Carson Drake, he makes the girl shake. The next match will be a real treat. This is the match that Damien Sandow was supposed to be in. So instead, it will be the Slime Balls, who are basically the Nasty Boys, and they will face Lord Crew. But the twist here is that the Slime Balls are going to be tied together. EC3 is loving life right now. The big dude is dominating. One Slime Ball tries a charge, but doesn't realise that the rope is wrapped around the top rope. Hilarious. Lord Crew suplexes a Slime Ball into the ring. He Irish whips one Slime Ball, forcing the other to follow and crash into the corner. They get caught on the outside on opposite sides of the ring pole and they're sent together. In the ring, a Slime Ball starts using the rope to tie up Lord Crew. They now dominate with double teams. The big one shakes his haircut with happiness. They start doing nutsack related offense. Crew is hit with a dropkick and a splash. They start choking him out, which to be fair actually looks pretty brutal. He eventually powers up and back suplexes them. This crowd of 5 people are truly loving this match. I tell you what we don't love though, I really hate the spot where someone throws a guy at their partner into a DDT position and then you knock the other guy down, causing the first guy to get DDT'd. Never like seeing that, it's dumb. Crew ends up carrying both the Slime Balls at the same time and hits a Samoan drop sack of shit combination. The Hawk won't hate on this with my usual gag, because the dude was probably thinking, I'm carrying 2 guys here, I just have to throw them down somewhere. Crew misses a big spin kick and the big Slime Ball uses the small Slime Ball as a javelin. The small one climbs to the top and covers himself in snot. His partner pulls him into a splash, which misses. The big man throws a spin kick to each Slime Ball, and that's that. As wacky and stupid as this match was, I was thoroughly entertained. It can't be easy wrestling a match like this, but they did a great job. Everything came off and the crowd loved it, and it wasn't boring. 6'9", Pretty Boy Smooth is supposed to be one of the main guys in Exodus Pro. You don't see many giants like this in wrestling anymore, so I was intrigued. He's big, he's bad, he takes the girls to bed, and you could park a Mustang on his head. He faces Calvin Tankman, who I haven't seen for a few years. He's got some fun offense, so this one should be good. For a long time, these 2 huge mammoths smashed together like morons. No one's going down. Tankman eventually barges the giant over. The manager causes a distraction which allows Pretty Boy to sweep Tankman's legs out. Smooth hits a corner clothesline but doesn't seem to be in much of a hurry here. Tank Man starts firing up with strikes, the crowd are loving this guy, but Smooth catches him with a big boot for it too. Tank Man keeps coming close, but not close enough. The bigger man hits yet another big boot to the face and then hits a world's strongest slam and a leg drop. It should have been the finish, but it wasn't. He misses his next move and Tank Man hits a flying spinning back elbow. Then they botch a backbreaker and the energy comes out of this massive crowd. Then completely out the blue, Pretty Boy wins with a simple shut up or I'll smack you one punch. It was okay, I wish they'd done a bit more. I guess neither man was really strong enough to power the other one about. I'm sure both guys would have had better showings against smaller guys. The NWA TV champion eats a meal during the show. Turns out the guy who cut the promo at the start of the show is Anthony Green, a former WWE cruiserweight who went as August Grey in 2021. For some reason there's apparently a tradition in this company that once a year the wrestlers have a battle royal where they have to dress up in togas the entire match. And the winner is crowned Julius Caesar? But this is unlike any other battle royal you've seen before because wrestlers enter in groups. The match is won by a skinny man in a full blue outfit called Towel Boy. They throw his trophy on the floor and call him pathetic. A lady is introduced but they've forgotten her name. She makes fun of how ugly the crowd are and how many nerds are in the back of the arena playing video games. Poor Tiffany Nieves, she has to wrestle in this company. I still think she looks so out of place when I see her on these NWA shows. She has a pretty good match, but she's just too good for this level of shirt at this point in her career, and she wins with a cloverleaf. Former Major League Wrestling talent Richard Holliday is also here. I'm actually surprised more hasn't happened with him in wrestling. What is Richard Holliday missing? Because I thought he was pretty good all round. And this will be a casket match against EC3. EC3 has changed his gimmick for the 1000th time this year, and he is no longer the Overman. He is now the Overlord. Because, oh lord, his career is over. Fancy the owner of a promotion putting himself in the main event. Ethan starts out smashing Holliday with a huge suplex. It's so weird seeing EC3 in this environment. EC3 hits a spine buster and Holliday hits a cutter. Richard Holliday dominates for ages, but not a lot is happening. EC3 nails a 1%er for a double down. Holliday comes back with a brutal chair attack which goes on for a while. EC3 even crashes into a chair in the corner and gets hit with a brutal suplex throw. Holliday also puts EC3 through a chair with a backbreaker. Eventually, Holliday is thrown into the table and the TV champion has now had his dinner ruined. This match probably deserves a bigger stage. EC3 hits the TK3 on the outside of the ring. The TV champion interferes and smacks out EC3 of his briefcase because he is a briefcase wanker. The match gets confused as a bunch of people fight each other. I don't think they're members of EC3's cult, but who am I to know? The TV champion wants to cash in his briefcase, but he isn't allowed to do this as Ethan smashes him out. All of this distracts Ethan and he gets smacked in the slash zone. More people interfere and EC3 is killed with a double team. Pretty Boy Smooth and his forehead get rid of them. In all of the chaos, Holliday loses EC3 and he comically looks around the arena for him. He re-emerges from behind a curtain and he unleashes a steel chair assault. The Overlord bounces Holliday's head off the casket for a while and then he hits the 1%er. He puts Holliday in the casket and drops flowers on top of it, which apparently means he wins the match. Everyone celebrates and they're happy. So ultimately, the show wasn't quite as weird as some control your narrative stuff. It just wasn't. It's nothing really bad, it's just really difficult to stand out from the competition with such poor production levels. It's still mad to see that EC3 would rather do this than just toe in the line and being in a big company. You probably won't understand that unless you watched his reign in TNA. It's easy to poke fun at EC3, but at one point in his career he was highly regarded and he had 2 separate shots at the WWE. They wouldn't do that for just anybody. EC3 is a man not motivated by money, but instead he's motivated by passion. He is trying to do things his own way and not follow the crowd. And do you know what? That's something the Hawk can relate to. I could easily sit here making an AEW video each week trashing that promotion, but I don't want to be like everyone else. Is that to my detriment? Probably, but I wouldn't be happy if I did it any other way. EC3 is putting his body on the line, and he isn't half-arsing it. He's just determined to go out and die on this hill, and he has no interest in trying to make it in a bigger company. He loves Billy Corgan, and he'd give him his heart organ, and if you don't agree with that, you're as boring as Matt Morgan.